We last spoke a couple of weeks ago when the situation was actually quite different. Now the U.S. and Iran are talking via negotiators, and perhaps in Pakistan again this weekend. Based on what you can tell from the open source intel, is Iran ready to give up its uranium and actually chart a different path?
First off, thank you for having me back on the program. Ultimately, it's hard to tell. We're getting mixed statements out from each side over the course of these negotiations. Trump says something, Iran says something. We're waiting for Iran to release their own statement on this. A few days ago, the administration, U.S. officials were floating a 20-year ban on enrichment. Iran came back with a 5-year ban on enrichment. So we'll see how this actually goes. But I think the bottom line here is that getting rid of the highly enriched uranium, so the stockpile 60% and ideally the 20%, doesn't end Iran's nuclear program. Iran still has the ability to produce centrifuges and build enrichment plants and enrich its low enriched uranium stocks of uranium. And hypothetically, given enough time, investment, and commitment, it could produce weapon-grade uranium from those stocks alone.
So what changes here? So is this really, a ceasefire where Iran is different going forward? It sounds like that's not the case here.
Well, I think only time will tell. It's hard to understand what the motives of the Iranian regime is at this moment. Clearly, their economy is being battered by the war. The blockade that's happening at the Gulf of Oman is preventing them from trading. Most of their trade comes from seaborne trade itself. So payment, for example, of $20 billion would be a great boon for its economy. It's hard to tell ultimately what the ultimate goal here is.
How would we know? Let's say we get to a point, and look, I'm putting the cart before the horse here, but ultimately this is the goal of the United States, is to get Iran to stop enriching uranium and to abandon its plans for building some sort of weapon. How will we know that Iran is actually following along with those plans if the U.S. indeed does get to that point in these negotiations?
Yeah, ultimately it would have to be verified through international inspections led by the IAEA. The IAEA will need unfettered access to Iran's nuclear facilities. Since the June 2025 war, they haven't been able to access the facilities that were destroyed, such as those at Natanz, Fordow, and Esfahan. So without on-the-ground, unfettered access where Iran is providing a full and complete declaration of their activities, we won't truly know fully what is happening. And just to remind everyone, Iran has never come clean with the fact that it actually had an explicit nuclear weapon program in the early 2000s called the Ahmad Plan. And this is something it continues to deny to this day. But ultimately, these efforts need to be led by the IAEA because they have the experts and the capabilities to conduct these investigations.
All right. So in investing and in the financial world, how many times do we say past performance does not guarantee future results? So we know how Iran has acted in the past for a long, long time. Is that what we should take away and say, that's not going to change? Or is there something here that says to you, Spencer, that it is going to be a different Iran going forward? Or we really don't know? I mean, based on the regime, it doesn't necessarily feel like there's going to be anything significantly different.
I remain pessimistic. Wild cards and crazy things do happen in foreign policy, but with this regime, knowing that it's led by hardliners, many of them who are fully in support of a nuclear program, maintaining an enrichment program, it's hard to see significant change without a breakthrough in negotiation. But, I can't predict the future. And if I could, I wish,
Oh, go ahead, Carol.
Well, but if you were a betting man, are you going to say that you said Iran can come back in terms of uranium, that they can come back? Would you expect that they will ultimately?
If there's a will, there's a way. If they're given the opportunity, certainly they've been extremely resistant on any guarantee that they would abandon the enrichment program. You can take that the 5-year moratorium as a sign of that. They want some sort of capability in the future. And essentially any deal that provides a 20-year ban, which, to be very clear, that's a very long time. And in that time, you can lose tacit knowledge that's required and that's built up over time to actually operate an enrichment plant. But it's essentially kicking the can down the road again. Yeah. But it is a longer time period than anything that was guaranteed during the JCPOA, for example.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you said about the inspectors and getting unfettered access, because it would be, I would imagine, I'm not a nuclear physicist, but I would imagine it could be probable that a country, a regime could give access to inspectors to certain areas, but have an entirely different facility where something like enrichment could still take place. Again, I'm not a nuclear physicist, but wouldn't that be possible to do in like a secret underground location?
Iran's a very large country. For example, in the early 2000s, when they admitted to having the Natanz enrichment plant, they put that under safeguards. All the while, they were still hiding and building the Fordow enrichment facility, which was eventually revealed by the international community in 2009. Anything is possible, but this is why the IEA and the United States need to negotiate an ironclad deal that enables them to conduct the investigations that they're capable of doing to fully verify the peaceful nature of any nuclear activities.
Is it safe to say, 30 seconds here, Spencer, as we wrap up, that there's going to be pressure, obviously from the U.S. and from the developed world, but also from the region for Iran to do this and change its course going forward?
No doubt. This nuclear program is a source of tremendous issues and problems for not only the Iranian people, first and foremost, but the region itself. It's a source of conflict and it's a source of instability.